I'll agree to lay off for 48 hours. But I give you my word, if you don't succeed, I'll come in here, seal every door, place everybody under technical arrest, take fingerprints, conduct a rigid inspection. I don't care if the whole world knows it. There have been 6 murders committed all in the same circumstances. The evidence points here.
Another one.
If you only knew the things that have happened.
Are you worried about your father?
Yes, I am. Terribly.
Oh, the only thing I'm concerned about is your safety.
Say, what's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me? Nothing at all. Only all last night I lay down with a bunch of stiffs. Look at a lot of goofy guys, let a dame poke a gun in my stomach, and then I take a trick cigar from a dumb policeman.
It is my theory that one of us in the past, from dire necessity, was driven to cannibalism. The memory of that act was hammered like a nail into the mind of that man. Shrewd and brilliant. He could conceal his madness from the human eye, even from himself, but he can't conceal it from the eyes of the radio sensitivity.
Why don't you ring the doorbell?
Oh, please, I'm afraid. Let's go. Okay, let's go.
Children, there is nothing to fear. Follow me and you shall be made comfortable. No squat, no stoop, no squint, no music.
Oh, I know how that's done. I know how it's done. Crazy, go Betsy, go Betsy.
My goodness. You nasty man.
Cut it out, will you? Cut it out. We want to get out of here. Why don't you leave us alone? Once it's a joke, you can't be fools of us.
has come again. Nothing can stop it.
You want to go first?
Yeah. No, certainly not. Ladies always go first.
Oh, right.
Watch that step. Watch it. It's got me. It's got my hands. It's got my... It's got... Jeez. It's this hand. It's this. It's... Oh. Hurry up. I feel like a mouse. Get me out of this.
event that the heir hereinafter named should prove to be of unsound mind, or if said heir should become insane or should meet death within a month of inheriting, then my estate is to be given to the person whose name is contained in envelope number 2.
Well, that will is practically an invitation to commit murder.
I remember a situation almost like this in an old play called The Fatal Hour, or She Should Have Known Better. At the end of the second act, the leading man takes the heroine in his arms and he kisses her. And then, filled with new courage, he starts out after the villain.
And, of course, comes back in the third act.
Oh, sure. No. As a matter of fact, in the third act, he's found dead in a bathtub. Why, there's nothing... Hey, wait a minute. This is loose. Hey, what's this? Listen, baby, don't be surprised if we discover an old skeleton in here. Well... Joyce! Joyce!
No. Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I am your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
We are great. We are great. It is Friday. We made it.
We made it Friday and feeling fine.
Yep, sliding into home base, season 9. What's
Yep.
up, Kathy?
Evening, Kathy. Hope you're doing well. Enjoying this Friday. Yeah, it's the start of a hopefully a relaxing weekend. If you've had a long week, you've made it. You're here. It's time to take a breath, relax, just soak it in. Friday night, and you're here with us enjoying another exciting chapter of the public domain horror movie saga that we've been on for 2+ years now here on the Scream Stream. And that's over. This is our 86th episode, so that's over 86 movies, public domain horror movies that we've seen, and we're not stopping anytime soon. But we've built up a pretty solid library of these movies so far. Evan wouldn't say this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Evan's an expert in these movies.
I've certainly seen a whole lot of them.
He's seen a whole lot, and he's heard me drone and ramble on long enough to basically have earned, if they could give a Medal of Honor for surviving my boring lectures.
I think this stream should count as a college credit.
It really should, actually. This could be a whole course. I mean, we're going to get every public domain horror movie we can.
Yeah.
And technically, that's a never-ending stream of horror movies.
And your tuition is free here.
It is. We are giving you a free education, and and with some laughs provided, of course. It wouldn't be come on, we're the cool teachers. We like to have fun in this class.
We spin our chairs around backwards.
We do. We like to, we like to throw a ball around, play some games, have some fun, and watch some movies. Hey, that's the best class. You're just watching movies, right? So that's what we do here, and that's where we've because we've seen so many movies. We within the horror genre itself, we have found there are very many different subgenres, and of course, the one that we probably encountered the most, and then we'll continue to encounter with frequency on this program, is the old dark house subgenre.
We're wading back out into the waters.
And we are tonight. We've got to, because it's gonna continue to fill out our lineup, and there's so many of these movies, and they're really the plots vary. Obviously, you could almost say that because it's these old dark house movies revolve more around mystery a lot of the times than supernatural occurrences, you could almost say that putting it in with horror is a little bit of a stretch. But the imagery and the atmosphere and the mood and the vibe is kind of what one element. But the other element with a lot of these old dark house movies, and especially pre-code old dark house movies, is the murder mystery, the body count element. Because you get some that don't really have much of a body count or any kind of, murder. There isn't like a mad murderer going around or a masked murderer going around. But there are a good number of old dark house movies that's what it revolves around, including tonight's film, The 13th Guest from 1932. And so this is pre-code. So be on the lookout tonight. See if there's any scandalous lines or
who knows?
behavior.
Who knows what you're gonna get?
We'll see.
Anything goes. It's pre-code.
And Kathy, that's a very good point. Technically you do get a sub-course here.
That is true. Yeah.
Because we've, as always, we've been exploring all these genre of films. Tonight we've got the old dark house movie, and Evan kind of explores different genres of cocktails every week to go along with the evening's film. I think it's early. We'll just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do it.
Because as always, Evan brings us a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film in a little segment which we call
What Were You Drinking?
What are we drinking tonight, Evan?
Well, we were talking about college credit. If this one, if it's not worth a college credit, it's at least worth a certificate.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you could basically write a book on cocktails after enough of Evan's lessons. So
yeah, just you wait, everybody. We'll get the companion coffee table book, the Scream Stream book.
Ooh,
eventually.
Yeah, once the merch line really gets off the runway, Evan's coffee table book will be top of the line, believe me. That's priority number one.
Yeah, and you can put that book will double as a coaster for tonight's drink, the Unlucky 13.
Ooh.
It's a slight variation on a existing recipe, and pretty much all season I've been very stick to the recipe. That's been almost the through line of this season so far.
Yep.
But I was thinking, we're coming up on summer. That's gonna be.
That's the time to get crazy.
Well, yeah, because we've got our summer of schlock.
That's right.
And Schlocktail Hour, where we get a little nuts, and that's I've been saving, myself for that.
Your real creative powers.
Yeah. So, but that's what you ever just completely lose your train of
all
thought?
the time. If you're a loyal viewer
You
of
ever
this
just
show, you know I
completely
do.
lose your train of thought on live television?
Often, I mean, again, we are live, so
Yeah.
how often do I lose my train of thought on this show? And I'll like, if you're watching, you can definitely see when I'm like trailing off, trying to find where was I going. I can't tell you how many times it happens to me, Evan. You're all good, all good.
The unlucky 13, if you'd like to make this at home, it is bourbon, pomegranate juice, hard cider, and a dash of allspice. So the original recipe, what I was trying to get at earlier was that the original recipe, this is a slight remix on the original, which is pomegranate liqueur, and I guess would you call it soft cider, regular apple cider? So we've flipped those. But the same flavors are at play here.
Okay, gotcha.
There might be just a slight variation, but we're gonna give this a try.
All right, I'm excited. I mean, hey, the 13 as just a theme is always a winner in my book. Some people say it's unlucky, but I say bring it on. And this looks wild. I love the color of this.
Yeah, the pomegranate juice makes it, and you can smell the allspice. I mean, you can smell that from like way
yeah, you
earlier.
can. It smells delicious. And it looks great. Yeah, this is I mean, I haven't even taken a sip yet. I'm already kind of falling in love with this one.
Well,
really
let's give this a try here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
This is Unlucky 13. It's not bad. It's not
nice.
bad. It's mellow.
Mellow is the right
It's a
word, because I
good-
don't want it's smooth. It is, but smooth isn't the right word.
There's
It's got a flow to it.
It really does. It kind of moves to the beat of jazz.
Yeah, right.
Kind of plays on your palate a little bit.
right.
The bourbon is, it's in there. You got a little bit of the smokiness, but it's mellow because of the cider. It's like diluted bourbon and pomegranate juice.
And I'm detecting like a kind of an aftertaste, not an after. It's like a afterburn.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
that's
probably, I guess,
a
the
little bit
bourbon,
of
I guess, that kind of...
Yeah, kind of an extra kind of kick.
Yeah.
Coming through.
Follow you down.
Well, I like that. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
not
a
bad.
nice drink.
So lucky find, I guess.
I think so, man. I think you whipped up a winner tonight. I'm definitely gonna enjoy this. I think again, it feels kind of old fashioned, which is perfect for a good old fashioned movie like we've got tonight. A good old fashioned old dark house movie. I mean, this genre, this subgenre of movie in itself is very old fashioned because they don't really make these kinds of movies anymore. And at one time they were everywhere. As we'll talk about tonight, we'll get into all of that. And tonight's movie I have not seen. This is, again, there are so many, they have slipped under my radar. But tonight's film is notable because it stars one of the great actresses of the golden age of Hollywood, Ginger Rogers, in a very early role. She was a future, she would win an Oscar 8 years after tonight's film. So she went on to be a very like famous actress. So we'll be talking about her tonight. We'll be talking about some of the other people involved with this movie. Some interesting some interesting things here. We'll be talking about the old dark house subgenre in general as well.
We're talking about this old house.
This old house, yeah. That's right. Yeah, this old house, I mean, hey, you could do a home reno show on every one of these houses that's featured in these movies, man.
We're gonna have Bob Villa on later
Yeah,
tonight.
he's gonna show you how you can use shiplap to improve the interior of your living space.
We're gonna raise your property value.
Ooh, through the roof.
We're gonna flip this house
times 13. Yeah, that's the caveat. Yeah, so again, pretty good idea of what to expect here with an old dark house movie. Dark and stormy night, and again, I believe that we'll have a masked killer on the loose.
Okay.
So that's always a good kind of. Not every old dark house movie has that, believe it or not. I will get into that later, but that's kind of their subgenres within the subgenre. It's a whole thing. We'll talk about it. But I'm excited. I don't know a lot about this one, so we'll see. We'll see how it stacks up to the other one, because we've seen. I can't even think of all the ones that we've seen. The ones that you could classify as old dark house movies. We've seen a few from the 30s. Some
The Corpse
more.
Vanishes, a old dark house. Or I'm thinking of a different one. Is it something walks?
The ghost walks.
The ghost walks.
The
That's what I'm
monster
thinking of.
walks. Yeah. What else? Oh,
the noun verbs.
The noun. Yeah, that's most of the titles are pretty. Yeah, they're gonna be like that. They're gonna be pretty similar. The 13th guest. So it's. I'm trying to. There's other ones. There was one we watched, House of Mystery, I think that was the one we watched last season.
Yeah,
that one was kind of forgettable. Not to, every movie deserves its moment in the sun, but I can't say that I remember too much about that particular. I knew there was a gorilla in it, so you got to give it up for that. But
when you say House of Mystery, that just makes me think of Dr. Strang.
Oh yeah, that's true. Dr. Strang, and I mean we spent 12 episodes at that.
We spent a lot of time in that wax museum,
bouncing around from the House of Mystery to the building. I can't remember what the company was.
Empire?
Yeah,
shipping or something.
Co. Yeah. Oh. And then the bad guys, the henchmen's boardroom.
They're weird dirigible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely have way more memories of that than I do of the movie House of Mystery. That's
that's what these old dark house movies need.
Yeah, I mean,
an airship.
An airship would have definitely spiced things up.
This should have been a old dark airship movie.
Ooh, see now,
there's a twist.
Now that's not bad.
We're on a blimp this time.
Well, and now that's where we'll get into it, but I was really trying to draw a fine line today, and it's really hard between an old dark house movie and then more of like a murder mystery, like when you've got like a Poirot movie, like a Murder on the Orient Express, something that it's a murder mystery that takes place on a train or in this exotic location or at this destination. There's a lot of books and movies and TV shows about that, but like I was almost gonna say every old dark house movie is a murder mystery, but not every murder mystery is an old dark house movie. But not every old dark house movie is a murder mystery. So that's
we've got like a triple Venn diagram.
I should have had like one of the
where's
crazy,
your big poster board?
The crazy boards with all the red string and everything to kind of, because I was trying to draw all these lines today in my head. And it was
I need a
impossible.
Visual aid for this lecture.
It's really hard, but I'll do my best. But it's fun. We're gonna have a good time. Anything else before we get into it tonight, Evan.
Oh, I've got a fun fact about this movie.
Oh.
Did you know that this house is where they shot the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo?
No. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
true.
Okay.
That's true.
Wow.
The 13 house.
That makes sense. You know, you want to have the spooky number lends itself to, you know, the right vibe for the location to shoot at. You know, so it makes sense that they would want to use that same location. Wow, look at that, Evan bringing us the important facts.
Yeah, you can take that straight to IMDb.
Please.
You can put it in
do.
the whatever section.
You can source Evan because at the top of the episode I said he was an expert.
That's true. I've seen a whole bunch of these movies.
Yep. He is certified, so
I've got this certificate.
Yep. Trust every fact he gives you. It's definitely true. Well, I think without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of the 13th Guest right now. Armitage Trail.
So it's based on the book.
We'll talk about it later. It's actually kind of interesting. And another female screenwriter, 3 weeks in a row.
Wow, we're on a roll.
We're on a roll.
The Players.
Ginger Rogers.
Max Braxton.
Trim car. Good old Monogram. Taxi.
You sure about the address, miss?
Yes, this is the place. You'll be sure and wait for me now, won't you?
Sure, I'll wait.
Oh, shit. Spooky. She just use a branch to pick that lock?
Wow. She's good.
I think this is Ginger Rogers. I'll know when we get this character's name. Operator.
That's funny.
What is this? Some kind of phone?
Number, please.
Oh, I'm at 122 Old Mill Road. This house hasn't been occupied for 13 years, and yet there's a telephone in it. Can you tell me who had it installed?
I wouldn't have that information, madam. I could connect you with a night supervisor, but she'd have to wait until the business office opens in the morning. I'm sorry.
Wow. Just boom, disconnected her right away. Can't help you.
Not my job.
Call back later. Ooh. Nasty.
Those rats installed the telephone.
Ooh.
All the modern improvements. You might have cleaned the place up a bit.
21st birthday. Big fur for a 21-year-old. 13, 13, 13.
This is it.
Monday, Monday, Monday. Yeah, Dog Star. It was definitely Ginny. Also, welcome, Dog Star. Hope you're doing well.
Oh,
this
yes,
evening.
of course.
Yeah, you could say Ginger Rogers was the
Dad
Taylor
sat
Swift
there.
of her day. I think that's fair.
I sat next to him. Mr. Barksdale sat next to me. Aunt Lucille. Uncle John. Harold.
Augustus Gloop.
Mother. Thor.
Thor?
Thor? Kid Thor?
Marjorie. Uncle Dick. Aunt Joan. Uncle Wayne. And
Who was the 13th guest?
Uh-oh.
Mr. Barksdale. Mr. Barksdale, is that you?
Was anybody counting there? Was that 12 people?
I think so. I don't know.
Mr. Barksdale.
Yeah.
Mr. Barksdale.
I'm gonna keep my eye on Uncle Wayne. Oh shit!
Jeez.
Yeah, right. We knew that cabbie wasn't gonna.
Police station, Captain Ryan speaking. Yeah? The old Morgan place?
He says he drove a youngster out there about 30 minutes ago.
Hold the driver, I'll be right over.
Okay.
Wake up, you dumb mass of muscle, and get going.
What'd you call him?
Huh? Come on.
Well, where we go?
Oh, the...
I'll never know.
Dinner and a mackerel.
Never know where they were going.
All right. Give me Stuyvesant 9600. You can go. Leave your address. We'll want you later.
Yes, sir.
What? Well, keep ringing them.
The great insult.
Hello. Hello, Phil. This is Ryan. Listen, we've got a swell case down here.
I'm not interested.
I've got to get back to my drink. Who are they trying to call, Batman?
Give me Stuyvesant 9600.
Uh-oh.
When you hear the tone of the gong, it will be exactly 12 o'clock and 6 split seconds.
Third
Ring
time's
that
a
number
charm.
again. Hello, you. Say, what's the idea of putting that dame on the phone? I know what time it is.
What time is it?
Shut up. No, I don't mean you. Don't hang up. I want you to get over here right away. There's been a murder. I know, but this is a good murder. Listen, 13 years ago,
A guy invited all his relatives to dinner.
The sap deserved to die. Well, arrest the mother-in-law and don't bother me anymore. Oh, all right, but make it snappy.
All right. There was 12 people there. The table was set for 13. The 13th guest never got there. That was 13 years ago. And now tonight we find a dame murdered, and she's sitting at the table in the 13th chair. Huh?
It's really convoluted mystery.
She was sitting in the 13th chair.
You dumb flatfoot. Who told you where to start counting?
Got him.
Well, go back and count the girl's chair first and let me know how you come out. And give my love to Aunt Sarah.
Ring that number again and keep ringing it.
Wow,
Then
this
tell the night
guy.
supervisor
Talk
I want
about
to
a
know
cock
that the
block.
phone's installed at 122 Old Mill Road if you have to get the whole Bell family out of bed.
Man, this house is about to be jumping.
House party.
Yeah, if you've got at least 13 people, that's a house
Winston,
party.
private investigator. Captain Ryan sent for me.
Yes, sir. Go right in.
And have fun, huh?
I mean, it's a murder case, guy. Try not to look so excited.
Call up headquarters and tell Clarence I'm sending those prints.
Yes, sir. Oh, what's the number?
Central. You dumb idiot! Don't you even know that?
Man, they are just slinging insults in this movie, man. My
Yes,
God.
Hello, Mr. Winston. We got a swell murder here.
Good. And the number you want is Central 5000.
Huh? Oh, yeah. 5,000. Central 5,000.
Well, you
Thank
certainly
you,
took your
Kevin.
time.
Appreciate it. We love
I was busy.
We love his movies.
Sure. When you hear the gong, the time will be 12 o'clock and 6 split seconds. Have a look at this, and then I'll introduce you to the lady. This house has been unoccupied for 13 years, yet the phone's installed and the electricity turned on. I'm tracing that. Those books are on the floor.
Did they dust him for fingerprints?
So how did that guy
That's
know?
all in here.
Like, is this guy?
come
He's
on
a
and have a look
super
at the
cop.
banquet.
He's got an excellent memory. He remembered. It's been exactly 13 years since this case. I've been thinking about it for a decade.
Yeah, he's definitely got all the facts.
The kid sure holds still all right.
Same old joke.
If I had a day off, I'd think up a new one. You can have her now, Doc.
Just a minute. I want Winston to have a look.
Oh, will you take care of that, Jerry? Thanks. Okay. Too bad. Pretty girl.
You wouldn't notice that. Seen enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks pretty dead to me.
Okay, Doc.
Say, how did you know about that dinner party 13 years ago?
Oh, every man and his
question.
dog knows that story around here. Morgan, Sr., dropped dead just after they all sat down to the table. The old lady, she was young then, must have been a little bit cracked herself. She wouldn't allow a thing to be touched. Just closed up the house and moved out, and that's that. And all these guys have been waiting for their dinner ever since. Gives me the willies every time I think of it.
Well, don't think then.
Okay, I did not know that.
You're deeper
you know
in
who the girl
the
is?
Swift lore.
Sure.
Than I.
Dog stars are real Swifty. I mean, hey, aren't we all? Isn't everybody a Swifty?
But no address. The driver that brought her out here said he picked her up on the corner of 59th and Park.
The apartment house?
No, on the corner. We've been checking up on the apartment houses around there now.
How was she killed?
Wait till you hear. The
Doc hasn't said for sure yet, but it looks like she was electrocuted.
Electrocuted?
She doesn't look fried to me.
Are we dealing with the Whispering Shadow?
Yeah.
I thought of that too. Not a wire on it.
They got to be looking
That
for
was
the.
it.
What was it? A disc?
Electricity.
Yeah.
Enough to kill her, but not to burn the body.
Shadow's death disc.
I wonder where she got it.
Say, that light in the living room.
I'll get it.
Well, what about that light in the living room?
Tain't on. I tried this globe in every socket in the room and it don't work.
Taint on.
Maybe the globe's burned out.
Never thought of that.
Anyway, I don't think I'd go around trying light sockets if I were you.
Why?
Didn't it occur to you that a young lady was electrocuted here tonight and that she might have been trying light sockets?
Nice. Somebody else.
Hello,
will pick
operator.
that up.
See if you can trace that call and ring me back. Make it snappy. Yes, darling, there's been a murder. You can read all about it in the morning papers. She listened in on all the other calls. Why the devil didn't she listen in on that one?
What was it?
I don't know. I just heard the receiver going up after I answered.
We were gonna play canasta
Hello,
with
Captain
the
Ryan
neighbors.
speaking. Sound Hotel? Thank you, sister. Oh, Grump!
Yes, sir.
Beat it over to the Sound Hotel and see if you can trace that call. Get a list of all the guests and all the telephone calls after midnight. And don't muff it.
No, sir.
And don't go to sleep.
Yes, sir. Oh, well, how am I going to get there?
You can drive a car, can't you, sweetheart? Take mine and beat it.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice, Dog Star. That concert experience that'll convert you,
If
man.
that guy's
I bet,
uncle don't die soon, I'll be a nervous wreck.
Who's the uncle?
Just the big boss in the city, that's all.
Oh, so that's why he's on the force.
You don't suppose because he got any brains?
Hey, Cap, come here. Come here, will you?
Oh.
Oh, you gotta love bumbling cops. An element of these movies you can't be without.
now?
The car, look at it. It ain't there.
What?
Well, I'll be a son of a... What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I just think it's funny. I'm glad you invited me down.
Yeah.
Guess you didn't put the parking brake on.
Come in, boys.
I put it in D for
Okay.
don't
Sit down.
move.
I'll see you in a few minutes. Did they identify the body? Yes, sir. Which one of you is the brother?
I am.
Friend of yours?
Yes. And of my sister.
All right, boys, I won't keep you long. Either of you know a man named Barksdale?
Yes, we both do. He was my father's lawyer.
Is he still handling the estate?
Yes. Why?
We'll ask the questions if you don't mind, son. Wasn't your father's will a little unusual?
It was quite unusual. He provided for my mother, for Marie and me, and left the bulk of the estate to the 13th guest.
Who was that?
We don't know. The 13th guest never arrived.
Screwy. Anything else about this guest?
No. Except that we always supposed that he'd come forward or be named when we became of age.
Well, when'll that be?
Well, why, you suppose that might have had something to do with it? Marie was 21 yesterday.
What?
Yes. Barksdale called her the other day and told her to...
No, I'm not interested in that.
Well, I am.
All right, be interested.
Wait a minute, where are you going?
Out. I'll see you later.
Say, but... oh...
I suppose you were at that dinner party your father gave?
Yes.
Had another thought.
Where'd your sister sit that night?
Why, beside my father. She always sat there.
Which side?
On his right.
Will you draw me a diagram of that table, name the people in the seating arrangement, and if any of them have died since, make a note of it. Have you kept in touch with the family?
When we couldn't avoid it.
Well, put down their addresses and leave it with the captain here. Thanks.
Do you remember how we sat that night?
Yes, I think so.
In a
Were
chair.
you there? Well, I was visiting there. We were just kids then, but it isn't easy to forget a thing like that dinner party.
I suppose not. I've got a hunch I'll be thinking about it for some time myself. Let us hear about that phone call from Barksdale, and I'll let you go.
Well, there isn't much to it, except that Barksdale called her a few days ago and gave her some instructions. Something she was supposed to do on her 21st birthday.
And you don't remember what they were?
I know. She wouldn't tell me.
And we're supposed to find the answer. Does anybody know anything? What's the matter with the old man besides being nuts? Are you sure this dinner wasn't held in an insane asylum?
What?
Try and calm down.
You're
Take
gonna come to
these boys
blows
to the
here in
next office and give them some
the
paper
chief's
and pencils.
office.
And send Carter in. Yes, sir. You boys better stick around. We might want you. That's too bad, son. Take care of yourself.
And what do you mean?
Nothing much.
You mean they might go after me?
They might.
Were you threatening
No, I
me?
don't think I care if they do.
Well, we would. It costs the department a lot of dough to investigate a murder.
Well, in that case, I'll be careful. Well, thanks. You've been very considerate today.
That's all right, son. Well, what do you think? I can't think. I'm numb. Why the devil does a man have to go through all that hocus pocus just to leave a will? It burns me up. Well, stop burning. Carter will make happy. Yeah? Hey, Carter. Let's see what you got.
Yes, sir. Here are the deposit slips of the telephones and lights, ordered by one John Barksdale.
Barksdale. So
Barksdale.
that's where you got it, huh? Yeah, feel better now? I'll
Sounds
say.
like a town for
Wait till I lay
dogs.
my hands on this guy.
Also a man answering to Barksdale description.
But,
registered
wasn't
at
there a
the
town that
Hotel
elected a
last night
dog
about
as their
9:30,
mayor?
Yeah.
Under the name of Perry. And at 1:22 put in a call to Douglas and 968. Then checked out of his hotel immediately after. Now, he hasn't been home since, and he hasn't shown up at his office yet. And his folks are beginning to worry.
Well, now, isn't that too bad? Tell them they can see him on Visitor's Day. Let's go.
Pardon me, sir. I managed to dig this up out of the Daily Herald files. It's Bartlesdale.
Swell. Let's send it out at once. Okay. Put a couple of the boys and those two kids in there. They may be all right, and again, they may not.
Yes, sir. Anything else for me, sir?
No, but stick around.
Okay.
Calling all cars. Calling
all cars.
Stand by for description of one John Barksdale, wanted for questioning on the Morgan murder case. Last seen on Long Island driving a Packard Touring, license unknown. Description: 50 years, 6 feet, gray hair, eyes brown. That is all.
And that
Appearance
is going to take
striking.
us to our first break. Yeah, didn't he? Yeah, those eyes and that white hair. My goodness.
He looked a little villainous there with his super angular face.
Yeah, certainly the guy that's doing all this stuff behind the scenes isn't up to anything shady. Certainly not.
A man that's that gaunt couldn't be up to anything suspicious.
No, not at all. He has a trustworthy face. Definitely. Well, that was the exciting first third of the 13th guest. What do we think so far, Evan?
This is an interesting setup we've got here. It feels like it is based on a book. Like,
yeah.
This whole thing with the table with the 12 guests and who sat next to who, like
It's
what
very
this is
convoluted.
These are the kind of details that you spend like a bunch of pages writing about and then you gloss over in the movie version.
Yeah, the movie you're trying to make it just make sense in a couple
it's like,
sentences.
can we
and
just get
it's,
through this?
like nearly impossible. You're just like, all right. But so far, they're setting the stage, obviously. The opening scene was pretty good, and I guess she was really dead.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I thought maybe she wasn't dead, but
that was a pretty, striking way to open
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Introduce this character and then just immediately kill her.
Yeah, she killed within the first 5 minutes. So yeah, I guess that was it, Ginger Rogers. Maybe it was. We'll see. I know that the character name that I have down for her we haven't gotten yet. So I was gonna for this break, I was gonna do some Ginger Rogers trailers, but I'm trying to decide should I do them second and talk about the the old Dark House movies first, or I don't know. Kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, to go back to like you talking about this being based on a book, this was the second book written by an author under the pen name Armitage Trail, which is definitely the penniest pen name.
Armitage Trail.
Armitage Trail.
I'm pretty sure I've hiked on that before.
Yeah, I've been all up and down Armitage Trail.
I've hiked all over these books.
Hiked these pages for miles. Yeah, real name Maurice Coons. But he was a Pulp Fiction crime author. And this was only his second book. His first was Scarface, which was the movie from 1931 and then 83. They're both adaptations of that novel.
Okay.
And apparently he sold the screen rights for Scarface and made a bunch of money, moved to Hollywood, and died in 1930, I think before the movie was even made, and at age 28. So he only had those two books.
Wow.
And he said he might have been like had a bunch of other pen names and written some like short stories and a lot of other stuff like uncredited, but those two novels were the only two, which is why a first edition copy of the 13th Guest novel currently goes for 2,500 smackaroons online right now.
Sheesh.
I was kind of surprised to see that 2,500 for I mean, a book that I'd never heard of.
Gotta go to a rare book dealer for that.
Yeah.
I've got a book guy.
If you're sitting on a first edition copy of the 13th Guest, then hey, if you're looking for a cool 2,500.
Hey, welcome to Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, I'm here praising public domain related items with absolutely no credibility.
Call in with your movie memorabilia.
Yeah, I'll give you a very, very credible valued estimate. Don't worry. But yeah, so it's based on a novel that I don't think was necessarily too big when it came out, but just I guess this came out the year after. Maybe I can't remember if Scarface was 31 or 32, but this kind of rode off I think they were trying to ride off the popularity of the author's name and from the author of Scarface, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the screenplay, again, like we said earlier, Frances Hyland. She's actually the wife of the director of tonight's movie, Albert Ray. So, they wrote, they teamed up on a bunch of stuff together, and there's actually an uncredited writer on tonight's movie. His name is Arthur Horrell, and he's actually a co-writer of Reefer Madness, and also the anti-marijuana movie She Should Have Said No, which I showed on our we watched Marijuana last year, and then actually on 420 I did a live stream of two movies, one of which was She Should Have Said No, which was the other one that he wrote. That and Reefer Madness. So I didn't know he wrote both of those, but wrote both of those. And he also directed a race horror movie called Drums of Voodoo. I don't know if it's really a horror movie, but it's a a race film about voodoo in a southern community. So we'll probably watch it at some point. You know, I mean, Son of Ngagi, I was surprised how much I enjoyed that. So maybe Drums of Voodoo might not be that bad. But yeah, so some interesting like people on the fringes of Hollywood. That's kind of what Poverty Row, all these people that had like a lot of the actors in tonight's movies come out of the silent like era, like did a whole bunch of work in silent movies. I'm pretty sure the writer director, like they all worked like on dozens and dozens and dozens, like over 30, to 40 to 50 silent movies before like tonight's film. So it's that's the thing like with Poverty Row that's kind of who it employed. The studios got all the big stars and the big technicians, and then Poverty Row got everybody the silent era kind of, got left behind once they switched to sound. So, yeah, Hollywood, the ecosystem in this time was weird, but again, that's how you get somebody like Ginger Rogers. She's top billed tonight. We maybe seen her briefly. I don't know. But this was only like her 10th movie.
Have we seen her in anything else?
We have not, because she didn't really make too many. She made a couple other mystery films, but she didn't make any horror movies. She kind of rose to stardom with musicals, a series of musicals she did with Fred Astaire at RKO. I believe they did 8 musicals together from 1933 to 1939. So it was the year after tonight's movie that she kind of like, they did their first musical and it was a hit. And so 8 more musicals later, I mean, she was a huge box office draw. And I guess the year after she did her last one at RKO, she won her Academy Award for Best Actress for a movie called Kitty Foyle. So she like throughout the 40s was a like one of the top earning actresses in Hollywood. And she was she did plenty of non-musicals. She was a very serious actress, but she got her kind of stardom in musicals because she started on vaudeville. That vaudeville to Hollywood pipeline. Which, man, I mean, I guess vaudeville was the TikTok of its day. You just, oh my God, this kid's gonna be a star. I can see it, and then we got to get this kid in a movie, and that's how it goes. But Ginger Rogers, it's funny because she kind of like in Hollywood, you kind of hear about these actresses who were really famous who were always like accompanied by their mothers who were like their managers and basically like a stage mom, like they basically had stage moms throughout their whole career. And apparently that was Ginger Rogers' mom, but she was actually a pretty wild character. Who's also named after Ginger Rogers' character. They share the same name. Ginger's character in the movie tonight and her mom in real life both have the name Layla. So it's a fun fact for you.
That is fun.
Fun. And her mom was actually like one of the first women to enlist in the Marine Corps during World War I. She was like a screenwriter, a movie producer. Like her mom was legit.
Wow.
Like, but she was also like her manager. She ran like an acting school at like the RKO studio. Like she was very, very business mind. She understood the biz, savvy, very savvy, very Hollywood. And I mean she like directed things, like it's kind of crazy. So I guess it ran in the family to be a successful Hollywood player. But we've got 2 Ginger Rogers trailers. We'll go ahead and show them. Even though we haven't seen her in the movie yet. I think that was her in the beginning. And I think she plays 2 characters. Not to spoil anything. I think maybe she plays 2 characters. Because she's top billed. So obviously, she's
This is a David Lynch movie.
right. We're never going to see her. But the first trailer we're going to see is for one of her Fred Astaire musicals. One that she did called Swing Time. And I'll go ahead and warn you, there's some offensive blackface in a musical number that they highlight in the trailer. So just go ahead and tell you before you see it. And then the second trailer is for a mystery movie that she did more toward the end of her career in the 50s entitled Black Widow. So, and it looks like she plays kind of a fierce character, kind of a, like in one of the one kind of scene that highlights her in this trailer, she's kind of like being really intimidating. It's like, all right, like playing the heavy. All right, Ginger, I see you. Ginger, you gotta love the name Ginger. It's fun. That's fun. But we're gonna get these 2 Ginger Rogers trailers, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of the 13th guest. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Let me explain. You see, the clothes that I had before,
When you're talking to a lady, you should take your hat off.
The rollicking romance of a gambling hoofer who loses his heart to a beautiful dance teacher in a merry mad chase of melody and mirth. To the lilting tunes of 6 hit songs by Jerome Kern and Dorothy Fields. The hilarious comedy of Victor Moore, Helen Broderick, and Eric Blore. Spectacular production numbers, stunning beauties, and the toe-tapping magic of the king and queen of captivating rhythm, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
You're not going to run out with all our dough. I got to get married. I wouldn't let you marry her for $10,000. How about 20? Not for 20,000. 25.
Papa.
This is a black widow, deadliest of all spiders. It earned its dark title through its deplorable practice of devouring its mate. Just like this human form of black widow, or should we say inhuman, who spins a fatal web for all those who come close to her. Someone is going to kill her tonight. Who will it be? Will it be Ginger Rogers as the jealous actress?
It's a complete lie. You've made the whole thing up and you can't prove one word of it.
Will it be Van Heflin as the famous Broadway producer?
No matter what she told you, I was nothing whatever to Nancy Ordway. Nothing whatever.
Will it be Jean Tierney, Van's celebrated actress wife?
What did you do? Just sit here and tell her everything about you and me?
Will it be Reginald Gardner, Ginger's harassed, kept husband?
You, heard the girl was pregnant, didn't you?
Suspense races with mounting fury as the detective lieutenant, played by George Raft, unravels the deadly web spun by Peggy Ann Garner as the Black Widow.
Why, you've just let that woman accuse me of seducing a girl, making a false promise of marriage, and then driving her to suicide without giving me the slightest opportunity to come back at her.
Everybody's lying but you. Lucia, that other woman, Nanny Ordway, they're all lying but you.
What do you want? You filthy, dirty little beast.
You get out of here.
You're the one that's going to get out of here and out of New York, too, if you know what's good for you.
What did she say exactly?
That you were in love. That you were married. Didn't think your wife would give you a divorce.
Did she tell you then that she was going to have a child?
And we are back. So those were two Ginger Rogers trailers, Swing Time and Black Widow.
The early Marvel movie.
Yeah, that's right. It was yeah, that was you couldn't see it, but under Ginger Rogers' green dress, she had that spandex suit.
Yeah, I think that trailer really played down the action angle.
Right. Well, in the very beginning, you saw like the, kind of a glimpse of like the mutation scene.
Right.
But yeah, they didn't want to like give much more. But still, early days, they were still trying to work out the kinks of the genre. Again, that's the thing about genre, man, is you always got to play with it. That's the thing. One thing I didn't mention about this movie that we'll probably see is a fair amount of comedy.
I'm actually kind of loving the bit of having this guy is just always in the way.
Yeah,
They
he's
keep
just. I
bumping
mean, you
into him.
gotta have your comedy relief. Like that's the thing. A lot of these old Dark House movies too, kind of.
There's always some slapstick element.
They have comedy relief that sometimes literally takes over the movie, and then it becomes a horror comedy. Like it's not.
You got the Ritz brothers,
right? Well, and that's kind of
yucking it up. In
what
the
I'll get
corner.
into later is kind of how the subgenre transform, because even from the earliest examples, even those movies do have a lot of comedy, but then in the 40s you really get it where they're pretty much mostly comedy, not really. The vibes aren't really there in terms of the creepiness factor that had kind of played out. But this movie is definitely playing up the comedy, and so I think that was the one thing I should have mentioned before we started. But as you have already seen, fair amount of insults and slapstick and all kinds of good. Yeah, Abbott Costello Dog Star. They Hold That Ghost is one of my favorite of these. It's really silly. That's where some of their most classic bits come from, that movie, the floating candle and all those bits just came from Hold That Ghost, which is a great Abbott Costello movie. But tonight, the other character, the lead character that we've seen so far, that we've seen a fair amount of, is the guy who's helping the police. I don't even know what his role. Do you know? Is he just a detective? Like, what's his?
The guy in the
Who's been in the suit,
or the tuxedo or whatever he's wearing. Yeah, I'm not really
Which
sure.
his name is Phil Winston, I believe.
Phil Winston.
I don't know why he's the police, but the actor's name is Lyle Talbot. We've actually seen and heard Lyle Talbot before. because he was actually a regular of one Mr. Ed Wood. Because Lyle Talbot, he started in his younger days of his career as like a matinee idol, but then he got involved with the union, the creation of the Screen Actors Guild, and so then Fox in 1936 like canceled his contract, and he couldn't get those a leading contract, so he just started doing character work, and he was quoted as saying, "It's really simple. I never turned down a job, not one ever." That would explain why he ended up not only in Plan 9, where he played a general, but also in Jailbait and Glen or Glenda. And another movie that we've seen on this program, he was the narrator in Mesa of Lost Women.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The really confusing narration in that movie was something else. And he went on to play the neighbor on the sitcom The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet for 10 years. That was the longest running sitcom until it was surpassed by Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Yeah. So Lyle Talbot had kind of he had a very long career, even though his leading career kind of got cut short. He was in over 150 films. So he did a lot. He didn't turn down very much. Obviously, if you're going to be in 3 Ed Wood movies, you're part of Ed Wood's stock company. And there was one Ed Wood documentary I watched where he was interviewed, and he had some wild stuff to say about Ed Wood. And I was gonna go watch it again, but I think we'll get to. I mean, we'll be seeing Glen or Glenda. I don't know if we'll watch Jailbait. I'm not sure if Jailbait is public domain. Glen or Glenda definitely is, even though it's so hard trying to figure out what is public domain and what's not. But tonight's film definitely is. But it's not always easy to figure these things out. But so we've had some interesting characters so far. A lot of characters. I mean, it's just 13 people at the table, and we've got.
Yeah, that was a great pacing moment where we just had 12 characters, family members listed off
We did
one after another.
It was a giant version of that 70s show, going around the circle. All they needed was the smoke in the air and a little bit more of a fisheye lens, and it would have been spot on that 70s show. Yeah, I mean,
the 13th guest, Red Foreman.
Red Foreman. He's about to put his foot up everybody's ass. Yeah, well, somebody needs to get in here and kick things up into the next gear, because I'm ready to see where this goes next. Where we just left off, they're looking for Barksdale, who Dogstar pointed out does look slightly like Peter Cushing in Star Wars, as Grand Moff Tarkin. This lawyer Barksdale is on the run, and we've got one body so far, and seems like we're about to round all these suspects up and get them in the house. That's what I'm ready for. Let's get this.
Yeah, let's lock the doors.
The doors. Yeah.
Initiate old dark house mode.
Yeah, it really is. It is. Engage. Yeah. I mean, that's how these plots go.
Bring in the big thunder clouds.
Right. Yeah. Cue them up. Hit the button.
Let's get this rain going.
Yep. I'm ready for it. I think that's what's coming next. On that note, anything else before we get into it, Evan?
Cue the lightning.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of the 13th guest right now. Oh, here we go. Back in the house, baby. That's what I'm talking about. course, sleeping.
It's not the eyes of a painting, a portrait.
Oh, I'm sure that's coming. It wouldn't be an old Dark House movie without it. Oh, look at this masked man. Who is this here at the bookcase? Is that Barksdale? He looks like a gaunt man.
Hello.
Oh my God!
Hello.
Pre-code.
Yeah, jeez.
I should ring the wrong.
Hello.
Is that the Whispering Shadow?
Yeah. Oh, the phone.
Oh, it's the phone.
It's the phone. Oh man, was he shaking?
Was electrocuted. This house is haunted.
Is it broad daylight?
It sure looks like it.
Well, I don't care. You can call me all the names you wanted.
I've run out of names to call you.
I don't care. Mr. Wilson, if you'd have heard it, you'd
Well, what did it sound like, Grump?
Well, it sounds like Tarzan. Tarzan. And the devil and a couple of heinies thrown in.
Well, could you give me an idea of what it sounded like?
Well, yeah, it started kind of up like, that ain't just it, you know, it's kind of like it.
Well, perhaps if you tried it again, Grump.
Yeah, well, it's just,
Some idiots. Don't you know when you're being ribbed? Shut up.
Oh, I was only trying to...
Shut up. Get out.
Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights. Turn on the lights.
Are they doing the banana peel gag with the stack of books?
Yep.
So I'd like to know who put all them books there.
So would I. Did you go to sleep today?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Get out of my sight before I kill you.
Yeah.
My God. Somebody would write this guy up nowadays.
Where are you?
Imagine if your boss threatened to kill you.
He called you a dumb idiot all the time.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Is he dead? It's Barksdale. Can you beat that? Search the house upstairs and down.
Yes, sir.
We got two bodies.
Not that it'll do much good.
Got a lot of chairs to fill.
Phil, what's the answer? It's got me worried plenty.
Me too. But I'm beginning to be glad that I wasn't invited to that dinner party years ago.
Yeah.
Here's the diagram young Morgan drew today. Take a look at the seating arrangement. First, we find the girl's body in the chair that she sat in that night. And now this. Are you beginning to get the idea?
And Lancelot sits here, and Parzival sits here.
Ye gods, Phil. Are they going to line this table with stiffs?
That's the way it looks, unless we do something.
But that's crazy.
It very nearly confirms one thing, though. The person doing it was at the table that night.
I'll get it, boss.
I don't know if you should, Grump.
It was a ghost.
Help! Help! Cap!
What's the matter now?
No.
What? Oh.
How did you get out of the morgue?
I haven't been in any morgue.
How did you get out of the morgue?
Who let you out of the morgue?
It's my new favorite line.
Take your hands off me.
Yeah, seriously.
Nice.
I won't. Let me alone.
Do you want me to spank you? Hold still.
What?
What?
That's a yikes. That's been a while since we've had a yikes. Huh?
That's a good little girl. What's your name? Marie Morgan?
Yes?
What did you say?
I asked this child here if she were Marie Morgan.
I'm no child.
Will you shut up?
And she said yes.
And she said yes.
I don't know. Maybe it's something I ate, and this is the nightmare. Where'd you pick her up?
I found her riding around in your car.
In mine?
I was on my way to the police station.
Yes, and baby, you're still on your way to the police station. Take her down and lock her up. I've got some things I want to ask her about.
You can't arrest me.
Oh, can't I? That's what they all say. Maybe it's all a mistake. And maybe you can explain everything. And I'll bet you won't say a word until you see your lawyer.
Well, I won't.
All right, baby. Come and see your lawyer.
Man, these guys are just over here.
Hard-nosed cop.
Being sexist as shit. Calling her baby.
Oh. Murdered?
That's right. Do you know anything about it?
No. No, of course not. Oh, what can this mean?
That's what we're going to find out. Take her and lock her in the library till we get through here.
I'm so confused.
Was she headed for police station?
She was going in that direction.
Call up city headquarters and report this. Call the coroner. Then stick around outside.
Yes, sir.
How'd you let a body get out of the morgue?
Now, why did you ask that girl if she was
We
Marie
should have
Morgan?
just edited that out.
What about the other dame? There are no twins.
No, but the other girl had several small scars around her face. Didn't you notice them?
Yes, but I didn't think anything about it.
Well, I did. I thought she'd had her face lifted.
Well, what a blasted idiot I've been. That's why you were so surprised when her brother told you she was 21.
Certainly. No kid that age is going to have her face lifted.
And you beat it back to the morgue to have another look.
Right. And took a good plastic surgeon with me. She hadn't had her face lifted. She'd had it completely made over.
Well, I'll be...
What?
Now, that commences to make sense.
Does it?
Barksdale made an appointment with the real Marie Morgan to meet him here. They planned to kill her and substitute the other girl, huh?
Who planned to kill her?
Huh? Barksdale made the appointment?
Yes, but if Barksdale was in on it, which he may have been, who killed the gentleman on your right?
Little Bo Peep.
Zzz.
Everything in this house is electrified.
Uh-oh. That is kind of cool, the way they're able to focus the actual camera, like, through that little hole from that far away.
Operator.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Police might not like it.
I was only trying to call my brother.
We'll call him later. You're going to take a ride with me
Where to?
to my apartment.
She'd be safer in jail.
Don't worry, she won't get away.
I didn't mean that. I said she'd be safer in jail.
And you may go to the devil.
Ooh. Can't say that after the code.
Mr. Adams, Mr. Winston.
Why, my dear child. Why, I'm almost afraid to touch you. What is the meaning of all this? Why, I'll have to send back that cutaway I ordered for your funeral.
You wear those to weddings, not funerals. This is Uncle Adams, the worst old reprobate who ever lived.
My dear, you're covering quite a lot of territory. How do you do, Mr. Winston? I'm delighted.
How do you do?
If you give him a drink, I think he may keep still.
What'll it be, scotch and soda?
Splendid, thanks. Easy on the soda.
No. Nice.
There you are.
If you want my opinion, it's Uncle Adams who's been committing all the murders.
All the murders?
Mr. Boxdale was murdered today in the old house.
Boxdale? My word. Not that I ever liked the old devil, you understand, but murdered. Well, what's the meaning of it, Mr. Winston? You're investigating the case, I suppose?
Unofficially. I'm a friend of Captain Ryan.
Yes, yes, of course. I've heard of you. Well, have you any clues, don't you call them? Any ideas?
No, but he has a laugh for you.
Really? Well, let's have it.
You're next.
What?
According to Mr. Winston's theory, you're next on the list. Unless, of course, you've been doing the murders yourself.
Really, Marie, you've always had the most peculiar sense of humor.
Must be some more of the family. I'm doing the resurrection act.
Well, they're all just coming to his apartment.
You certainly startled me.
Did I? Mr. and Mrs. Thornton, Mr. Winston and Miss Thornton. How do you do?
How do you do?
If you'll explain your reasons.
Well, for heaven's sake, I thought you were dead.
Disappointed?
Well, why be a hypocrite? You know I've always hated your...
Marjorie, if you say that word again, I'll disown you.
What a loss.
Wow, this guy's taking on a lot, just inviting all this girl's family up to his apartment.
At your service.
I may take you up on that.
If this is another one of your jokes, Marie, I must say it's in bad taste. I've been simply prostrated all day.
I'll bet you have.
Bridge always tires Mother.
Marjorie.
May I answer it?
Certainly.
Let me.
Certainly.
I love answering the door.
Bud!
How'd she know?
Marie, it is you. Oh, my dear.
They tried to kill me. Are you glad I'm alive?
Am I glad?
I think you are.
But what does it mean, sis? They made us go down and look at that other girl. We thought it was you.
Did you cry?
Well, to tell you the truth, honey, we
Not really,
both
but
went home and got potted.
Potted?
That's just as good.
they were really
Mr.
sad.
Winston has the whole family here. He says one of them is the murderer. I'm giving odds on Uncle Adams.
Uncle Adams? He's too lazy to commit a murder. But tell me, darling, what happened to you?
I'll tell you later.
Well, here we are. Just one big, happy family.
Oh, hello, Thor. Who was that blonde I saw you with the other night?
There was no blonde, and you know it.
Oh, well.
Dear Marjorie,
Your soul must look like the inside of a vinegar bottle.
By Jove, it's a good idea. I wish I'd thought of it myself.
What's that?
Killing off the family. It must be some poor soul that had the misfortune to dine with us when we were all together.
I think you're right. Someone who dined with you 13 years ago.
Really? Oh, you mean the night that John read that stupid will?
And then died.
Well, mercy, don't ogle me. I didn't kill him.
No one killed him as far as we know. Does anyone here know the present whereabouts of Wayne Seymour?
The last time I saw him, I got an impression that he was going to spend the rest of his days at number 9, Yokohama. I see you know your Yokohama, Mr. Winston.
That's slang for brothel,
With the exception of Wayne
Japanese.
Seymour, you people were the only guests at that dinner who are still alive.
Well, and we're dead from the neck up.
Speak for yourself, John.
I'll speak if you don't mind.
Go ahead, but a few snappy jokes injected here and there would make a world of difference. You see, we're accustomed to public speaking.
I'm afraid this isn't a joking matter. It looks as if someone is determined to kill every person who attended that dinner 13 years ago. They've already killed 2 people.
2?
2? Yes.
2?
A girl was taken for Miss Morgan and John Barksdale.
Mr.
What? Barksdale murdered?
Very much so. And in both
Oh, he's
cases, the
very
bodies
dead.
were found
I assure you. I can
can
assure you he's very dead.
And as Captain Ryan so elegantly describes it, the murderer intends to line the table with stiffs.
Oh, how vulgar.
Well, thank goodness I was under the table most of the time.
Yeah, pinching me.
Oh, I was a cute youngster. Always full of fun.
Someday I'll look at your baby pictures, but just now we're discussing murder.
Which automatically makes one think of Marjorie.
Speak for yourself, John.
Shall we go
We're
on
trying to
with
do
this
this
or
rapid
just
fire
turn it into a
banner, but
family
it's kind of
reunion?
coming
Why not
across a
have
little
blindfold
awkward.
test? Wouldn't matter which one you picked. We'd all cut each other's throats for a dime.
Why a dime? I'd cut yours for fun.
Damn.
Jeez.
God, everybody's got some acerbic wit. Huh?
Yeah.
Give me police headquarters.
This family.
Detective Bureau, Captain Brown's office.
Now I can see why
get a chance to
the
see a
person hated
mastermind
being
at
at
work.
dinner with them
Hello.
13 years ago.
Who's this speaking? Oh, well, this is Winston. Send the wagon to my apartment and issue 4 John Doe and 3 Jane Doe warrants. Material witnesses in the Morgan case. Right. I've got them here.
Really, you're quite amusing, Mr. Winston.
Thank you. You like the matron in the city jail, too. She's one of the Philadelphia Smiths. Perhaps by this time you're beginning to see that I mean business. Now then, do you want to stop trying to be clever, or do you want to spend the night in jail?
Winnie, do the men have separate wards from the women?
I think you settled it then, young lady. Night in jail may make you people see that murder isn't amusing.
Hmm. Yeah, he's teaching
This
them,
is an
man.
outrage. So is murder.
Why, you
Teaching
can't do
them a
this.
lesson.
Wait and see.
I'll break you for this. The governor is a personal friend of mine.
And of mine. And I happen to know that he's a little funny when it comes to murder. He doesn't like it.
Don't be a lot of fools. He doesn't intend to send us.
The police, Mr. Winston.
Yes, so I see. Good evening, Sergeant.
Good evening, sir.
Have you the warrants?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, all signed and in order. All right. Take these people down and lock them up.
Yes, sir. All right, step lively. I demand to see my lawyer.
Miss Morgan saw her lawyer today, and I don't think she enjoyed it.
Well, you'll be sorry for this.
Wow, rounding them all up, sending them to jail. That's an
Like Winnie
interesting
Dear.
strategy.
Mr. Winston.
Good night, my dear, and sweet dreams.
Damn.
All in a day's work. Don't answer that phone.
Hello. Come on down, dearie. We've got another corpse.
What? What, the family's all locked up?
Yeah, sure. You're a smart guy. I don't know. I haven't over yet. You coming down? Okay.
Get me to the police station. Hello. Give me the desk sergeant, the city jail. Yeah. Hello. This is Winston, private investigator on the Morgan case. I sent down 7 of the upper crust for you. Will you send somebody in and see if they're all there?
Yes, sir.
The upper
Hey, Mike,
crust.
take a look at the 400 and see if they're all there. Okay, Sergeant.
This guy can't count. Yeah, Dog Star. That's exactly who he looks like. He looks like Fred from I Love Lucy.
What's the matter with her?
Who cares? Don't touch her, Marjorie.
Hey, what's the matter? What? What? She says that you remind her of her mother.
Pipe down. You can't do this.
You can't laugh and have fun in here.
Stop having fun. This is jail.
Yes, I know. You're going to write a letter to the commissioner.
I won't stay in here another moment.
Say, what are you trying to do, rip me?
Dear me, no. Say, if you guys don't dump me up, there's going to be a murder.
Well, that's what we're here for. 2 murders. He did them. What? Hey, pipe down here.
Yeah, officer, I demand it.
Oh, go read your ticker. I want to know what Steele's doing.
Where are the other 2?
All there, Sergeant. Okay. All there, Mr. Winston.
Okay, thanks. Oh, wait a minute. Turn them all loose, but put a man on each one of them. Yeah, I'll be responsible.
And that is going to take us to our second break. Well, 2/3 of the way through the 13th guest. What do we think so far, Evan?
Interesting strat by the detective here. You know when you're tired and sometimes maybe you don't make the best decisions?
Yeah.
Let them all out of jail. Let's just see how this shakes out.
This was one of those. And hey, new subscriber.
Hey, new
thanks,
subscriber.
Bruno, appreciate it. Yeah, this is definitely one of those situations where if he could have a do-over, he'd probably want to have that one back. I think wasn't. I mean, it seems like a good plan, you know. Lock everybody. I've seen that somewhere. I can't remember where. That's probably another murder mystery. Just that idea of, all right, let's just lock everybody up, and
we know it's one of you.
Because you know, one of my favorite Vincent Price movies, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, it's kind of that way of where there are like 9 people that are like, they know that he's trying to kill all 9 of these people. So the police are trying to like protect these people to the point of like eventually putting them in custody. But of course, Phibes is always 5 steps ahead of the police.
That's why they call them Fives.
Yeah. But that's a murder mystery for you, you know? Like that's kind of, the killer is always a few steps ahead of the police, and you know, keeping everybody on their toes, including the audience. So, I mean, so far, you know, again, you know, I'm waiting for them to all be in the house, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been saving it for the 3rd act. I was I was expecting just it all to be in the house in one
It's
night.
usually how these work.
Yeah, they're usually contained.
This has been been a surprisingly exterior Old Dark House movie.
It's been a little bit more of a general kind of mystery, murder mystery than exclusive. But all the murders are tied to the house. It's all like, I think the latest body was found at the house, right? It wasn't at the police station, obviously. So it's just kind of it's just a little different. And that's the thing. Every Old Dark House movie kind of like tries to do something different. It tries to give you some weird element or just something that you haven't seen before to varying degrees of success. And I mean, we've we were talking earlier, we've seen a handful of these movies, and it's actually the year that tonight's movie came out, 1932, was kind of like the year of the Old Dark House movie, believe it or not. There's
Really?
almost 10, if not more than 10 Old Dark House movies in that year alone, including the Old Dark House with Boris Karloff. But
is that the definitive
it is, but that's
film
not
of the genre?
But that's not a murder mystery. And that's where, remember I was saying earlier that within this subgenre, it's kind of like there are other subgenres. Or that you can't call every Old Dark House movie a murder mystery because the Old Dark House is not a murder mystery. It's a group of people get stranded because of this terrible storm, and they're in this house with all these weird people, and there is like a crazy maniac on the loose.
They're being terrorized.
They're being terrorized by a crazy madman.
Who doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah, but there's no like body count. There's
like
no
Scooby-Doo.
Right. There's no masked killer. Like that's the thing. Some of these movies use that trope of the masked killer, the disguised killer. Other ones don't.
Like this movie.
Right? Tonight's movie, you've seen our silken.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to pull the mask off.
I know it's going to take a while.
Jenkins
it's flowing, and yeah, let's see who's really hiding. I'm excited. I hope Grump gets to do the honors. Who's actually that actor? He has a notable role in Island of Lost Souls, also from 1932 as a boat captain, and also in a bigger movie in 1939, Gone with the Wind. He played a Union soldier that Scarlett O'Hara has to defend herself against, and a pretty gruesome scene for 1939, which, spoiler alert, she shoots this guy in the face.
Jeez.
And because he's a Union soldier and he's about to attack her, and she has this gun hidden behind her dress, and when he comes in close, she just and they just like show his face close up, and it's like not like Looney Tunes cartoon. It's like pretty sure all like bloody, and it's like in a big marquee movie back in those days, you can get away with doing blood and gore, and I guess in a historical context. But in a horror movie, that's not really allowed.
Go figure.
Well, even tonight, it's funny being a pre-code movie. Just like we'll see how much higher the body count goes. But what are we at so far? 3.
Have we got our third? We
they
two.
That was the one that he got the call about when he got woke up.
Okay, yeah, we are on the third then.
We haven't seen it yet, but there is a third body. So
well, they have a lot of chairs to fill.
They do.
If they're gonna try to get the full set here,
it would be pretty pretty nice to see them get close to 10 at least.
Get like a bunch at once.
Yeah, you could definitely knock out more than once. If you get somebody important on the telephone that everybody wants to hear from, they're all trying to grab the thing. You can electrocute multiple people at once. It might work out. Oh no, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, I mean, so this came out in a year with a lot of these kinds of movies, and a lot are of the masked killer variety. And then I mean, even like in the first trailer we saw in the pre-roll tonight, Dr. X is, even though that's really it's a definitely you can call it a horror movie. It's an old dark house movie. Like once you finally get to the house, and the bodies do pile up in that one. But that was the heyday of the genre. And then the second trailer we saw in our pre-roll for The Cat and the Canary, that was like the third version of The Cat and Canary. Like there had been a silent version, which we'll get to see on this show. Which kind of helped kick off the craze like in the late 20s, which extended to the early 30s, this old dark house subgenre craze. I guess because it was easy to make these, kinds of movies. But then in that 39 version of Cat and Canary, as you can see with Bob Hope present, it's very much a comedy, right? So most of the old dark house movies that you start to get in the 40s, they're comedies. They've got Bob Hope or Red Skelton or the Ritz Brothers, as Evan mentioned, as we saw in The Gorilla. That was 1939. But you really just get a lot of mostly comedies, and every once in a while you get some interesting, serious old dark house movies. There's one called The Spiral Staircase. I was going to show the trailer for it tonight. I decided not to, because I had some other trailers I wanted to show. The first of which is for a later old dark house movie. I guess kind of one of the last proper ones that wasn't just like a straight parody or pistache. And that is actually a movie we've seen on this show, 1959's The Bat with Vincent Price. It's very much all the hallmarks: mass killer, mansion, money on the line, hidden money. Everybody's trying to get the money.
There's gold in these walls.
Yeah, well, that it is kind of always a subplot in these movies, that not always, but a lot of the times money is kind of at the center of the motivation of the crime, right? Somebody's got some hidden loot stashed away, or there's an inheritance that is going to be triggered by certain deaths. And that's kind of typically a pretty trusty plot to go with in these movies. That's a good question, Dogstar. Evan, especially. What do you think about that? And that's the thing too. We didn't even talk about like supernatural themed old dark house movies, but that's a whole other one where supernatural is actually a thing. But I don't know. The idea of
there's been games where you're kind of hunted, like Clock Tower, kind of an older game though, where you're there's a killer. You're kind of in like you're in a clock tower. I think I haven't actually played it myself, but
okay.
I guess it's more of the scenes in like the slashers where it's like it's tense and you're like the person's hiding under a table
right,
or in a closet. It's more of a game like that.
Well, Evan, that's the perfect segue to the second trailer, and that's kind of the whole thing with like The Bat really that's the last one because the subgenre got killed by the slasher, basically. And really with Psycho, the year after The Bat, 1960. Psycho was the movie that, kind of is the proto slasher. And really took things like a lot of the tropes but flipped them on their head. Like money is in play in Psycho, except it's the MacGuffin. It's not really important. It's not part of the killer's motivations at all. That's much more psychological, right? And that's the thing where you start getting away. Old dark house movies are very logically, the killer's motivated by money or inherit something tangible. And slasher movies started to kind of play with this idea of, this maniacal killer who is triggered by some trauma, and um of course, I mean, I really do think that that's why, like, it's slashers are the kind of natural successor in terms of, usually you've got one location, you got a high body count, you got a masked killer. You're not going to have money at the center of the plot normally. It is going to be more of a psychological thing, a la Psycho, but you still kind of have some of the same plot elements, and I think that they come from the seeds that were planted by the old dark house genre. So the second trailer is I wanted to keep it numerically thematic tonight. So second trailer we're going to see is for Friday the 13th from 1980, keeping with the 13th
Very
theme
nice.
tonight.
Very nice.
And I mean, again, it's a pretty quintessential slasher, and obviously it's not an old dark house movie because you don't have an old dark house, but I mean, that's the thing, like, murder mysteries, you're kind of centered around a detective. Old dark house movies, a lot of times you don't always have that kind of character, and that's where, more in common with the slasher, you're just watching people get picked off, right? And that's that's where I think the parallels in the two subgenres, I think you can track them over time. So we're gonna get these two trailers for The Bat and Friday the 13th, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of The 13th Guest. So stick around, we'll be right back.
Come in. Come closer. Closer. That's right. I'm Vincent Price. You'll be just as safe in this house of fear as any of the other 5 victims murdered by the Bat. In all of the annals of mystery, there's never been a more elusive, fearsome, and cunning killer. He'll lure you through hidden passages to make you his next victim. But nobody lives forever, so why be afraid of the Bat?
How long's he been dead?
Oh, I'd say about a half an hour. You believe it was the Bat?
That's a Bat's trademark.
Perhaps he's still in the house.
That's possible.
It says here that the Bat never leaves no fingerprints.
That's understandable. Having no face, he probably has no fingers either.
The Bat is waiting for you.
And we are back. Those are the trailers for The Bat and Friday the 13th.
You may only see it once.
Oh, that was awful. I'm never seeing that again. Yeah, that's probably what a lot of people said, unfortunately. No, I mean, those people love those movies. I like some of those movies. The 6th one is a lot of fun. That's really great. I mean, again, you can see this, just the body count is just going up, and you're trying to fit. And that one especially really is a murder mystery. Not to give anything away if you haven't seen it.
Who's the killer?
It's not Jason. It's actually really not the first. But if you don't know it by now, you know, see it. But it's funny. Like it's a lot of plots can center around, who is this killer? I don't know who it is. So whether you're in an old dark house or a camp, you're in this isolated location, and murders are just happening left and right.
You're somewhere where there are back ways,
right?
For somebody to be sneaking around.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always, and that's the cool thing about old dark house movies is your secret passages and your secret panels and your peepholes and your paintings. And
I'm still waiting for the eye holes.
I know. I mean, even Psycho has one of those. I mean,
classic.
That's the thing. Hitchcock really, I don't know if he knew that that's what he was doing. It's not strictly an old. It doesn't all take place in one night in an old dark house, but at least the kind of beginning third of the movie, the first half, whatever you want to call it, and then the bodies do pile up, and it's more, technically it's a disguised killer. And again, another one, if you haven't seen it, you should probably have seen it by now, but
spoilers.
I won't spoil anything for you. And I did watch. I was gonna show I thought about and we're gonna have so many of these movies. I'll probably show this trailer for Psycho anyway, for one of them for a break, but it's 6 minutes long. It's if it's a shorter movie, we'll go with that longer break. But
got a lot of information to convey in this trailer.
Well, it is just Alfred Hitchcock talking to you for 6 minutes, and he is doing an impeccable job of teasing certain salacious things about the movie without spoiling it. He'll get right to giving you some juicy detail, and he'll pause and be like, I can't go into it. Let's just move on. Because he's showing you around the Bates Motel. He's showing you around the house, and he's telling you the painting with the peephole behind it. He's like, this picture is of very important significance because. Oh, let's just go over here. But he's doing it in the British accent, very slow, and he had already had the television show at this time, so he was that personality. He had developed that rapport with the audience. They knew who he was, and they liked him to talk to them. They liked his whole shtick, and so that's why the trailer is literally like a little Alfred Hitchcock presents bit, but it is
what the fans want.
I was thinking about it today as I was watching. It's he really actually is doing a very good job of teasing important things about the movie, but in a way that that's it's skillful. That's why he's Hitchcock. He's the master.
He's the master.
He's the master. What can you say? We're about to get into the exciting conclusion of the 13th guest, and so far, again, we've got a body count of 3, so we'll see if we can knock out 10. And
we got a lot of ground to cover.
We'll see if they can do it. It's pre-code, so anything's possible. You can't rule anything out. That's what I love about it.
The first couple of kills are, very slow, very meticulous, and then he just throws a hand grenade into a room.
Yeah, it knocks out 7 of them at once. It's possible. The food's going to be poison. That's what it's going to be. I don't know.
He's gonna throw a bunch of phones at him.
Oh yeah. They're all gonna, Well, the cops are gonna try to do some elaborate sting operation. They're gonna bring in all these phones, and they're all gonna be rigged up, unfortunately. So it'll be funny to see how that turns out. Anything else before we get into it, Evan?
So what do you think is gonna happen when they put all 13 bodies at that table? You think that they could unlock a prize?
I think so. I think you do
win the
kind of
game.
get. You're supposed to unlock some kind of like.
That's how you get hard mode.
Right. Exactly. That's right. Well, the obvious question we should be asking: who do we think the killer is? I'm
I
really
think-
not sure. Honestly.
I think it's that guy in the hood.
That's an astute observation. Very good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm interested to see who the killer turns out to be.
Maybe that guy with the white hair. He looked kind of.
Yeah, he's definitely. Well, that's who Ginger thinks it is. So we'll see. Wild card. Maybe it's the cop.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah,
he seems to know a lot about
he does.
everything.
That is true. That would actually answer some questions.
Yeah, I don't know though.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of the 13th guest right now.
Wire runs over here, then goes no place at all. I've scoured the whole house. Now, the only answer is there must be a closet or a room somewhere that we don't know anything about.
I don't want to know anything about it.
Sure you do.
All right, Bill. Make it snappy. Cut it right there.
Whoa.
What do you make of that, huh?
I wonder.
What?
Steel.
Great guns.
Nothing rubber about that.
Rubber?
Come on, let's get out of here.
Phones weren't made out of rubber, were they?
I've seen sights, but that one.
They made of
Rather
steel.
a neat way of doing it, though,
Steel
huh?
foam.
I don't think it's neat. It's fiendish as the devil. Do you realize that the murderer left that switch on, not caring who got killed?
And while he's asleep in the county jail, he commits another murder.
But he wasn't here to turn off the switch and bring the body in here. I think that cinches it. But which one?
Well, you saw them. Which is the most likely?
Well, the odds are about even. There's a cousin Marjorie who'd commit murder just for the fun of it. And her mother'd kill anything that stood in her way. But I think it stands between the two uncles. Adams is as smooth an old devil as I've ever seen. But Thornton's deep. You know, the big businessman who'd stop at nothing.
What about the brother and his boyfriend?
I think they're all right.
Oh shit! Are they
Gibson's in
are
love
they a
with the girl,
couple?
and her
I've
brother
been
seems
wondering
genuinely
that.
fond of her.
Well, what's the girl's story?
You think he? I mean, maybe he didn't
She
mean
says
it
someone
like
shot her
that,
in the
but
dark. She ran
it
upstairs
kind of
and
seems a
hid.
little
And
coded.
by the way, she heard that same cry that Grump heard. And according to her, it wasn't particularly pleasant.
Just the same, I'd like to hear it. And what else did she do besides steal my car?
Well,
Maybe
she said she came back down, was about to beat it out
they'll
the front
pull a
door when she heard a
whispering
car
cat
and
out of
motorcycle drive up. And by that time, she didn't know where to turn. And when she came in here and saw her double sitting cold and stiff at the table, she did go nuts. Got scared of the police as well as the rest. Hid in the cellar and then stole the car. She hid out all the next day, thought better of it, and was on her way to the station when they picked her up. It's logical.
Barksdale asked her out here?
Yes. And what they were all after, I think, was a slip of paper that she got that day at the bank. Which doesn't make much sense, of course, unless it's a safe combination.
What was it?
13, 13, 13.
13. I'd like to get old man Morgan alone for about 10 minutes. I'd teach the old buzzard how to write a will. Well, we get the family down here and try and sweat it out of them, or should we put a close watch on them and see who comes down here?
Well, I'm in favor of the last. Now, our friend may get curious and come down to see if he's had another killing.
Then we keep this last one quiet, huh?
That's right. I've got a hunch it's the missing uncle. I want to call Miss Morgan.
Call the coroner, too, will you? I'm kind of
A
ashamed of
missing uncle. There's an uncle that's, I guess, hasn't shown up yet.
Thank you. Well, if this is the kind of service I'm going to get killed every day. I'll get it. Hello? Miss Morgan's apartment.
How'd you like our city jail? Listen, child. I want you to destroy that strip of paper at once.
Child.
And don't
Listen,
tell
kid.
anyone what was written on it. Not even your brother. But no one's accusing your brother. Say, listen, don't you get too smart. You know, there's a distinct prejudice in the police department against little girls who go around stealing police cars. Oh, you're not? Well, 21's a mere drop in the bucket. Say, will you shut up and let me talk? Now listen, don't tell anyone those numbers. And if anyone tries to get them out of you, let me know immediately.
Hey, will you
do that?
shut up?
Yeah, there's a lot of blunt talk in this movie. Shut up, you stupid idiot.
Hey, Flatfoot.
Yeah. What did he want?
After the
He
code,
told
you
me
couldn't
not to
talk
tell
like
anybody
that.
the numbers on that slip of paper.
What numbers?
13, 13, 13. Oh, gosh.
Trust a woman.
Oh, well, for goodness sake, don't tell him I told you.
All right, we won't.
Oh, good old drunk. Tea room.
Elite tea room.
Isn't that slang for something?
This is a members-only tea room.
Shame on you looking at those things.
Huh?
Why don't you have luncheon with me? It'll be more comfortable than standing out here.
God, look at that
How'd you know
fur,
I'd fall on
dude.
you?
Jesus
Have you
Christ.
ever been to the zoo?
Sure.
Did you see the elephants?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I know.
Huh?
I'm afraid you're not very bright, but you may come in handy. I'm about to go calling. Would you like to come along?
I gotta go wherever you go.
Is that a theme song, or just your quaint way of saying things?
Oh, well,
You
Aw,
better
shucks.
ride with me. You know, I'm getting a pain in the neck from looking back at you. Come on. Of course, just looking at you may give me a pain in the neck.
Yeah, just turn the police tail into your bodyguard.
Okay, stay there until you're relieved. That was Bentley, detailed to watch Adams. He says Adams hasn't left the house all day. But some dame just came up in a limousine with Grump. Grump?
Some dame.
He's tailing the Thornton girl. Tailing her? He's riding in the limousine with her.
What? I'd give $100 to see that.
Why?
Come in.
It's the depression, bro.
There's a Dr. Sherwood outside.
A lot of money.
Says he has some information.
That's how
on
you
the
know he's
Morgan
a rich
case.
playboy.
Dr. Sherwood? Yes, sir. Send him in. I hope he's our man. Oh, Doctor. Captain Brown? How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Yeah. Thank you.
I hope you're a plastic surgeon.
I see you're ahead of me.
I am, as a matter of fact. And I operated on the young lady who was killed. I only saw your notice in the paper this morning.
Yeah, well, we didn't know until last night that the wrong girl had been killed. When did you operate on her?
Several months ago. 3, as a matter of fact. She and her brother came. What?
Yeah, that's what that fur was, Dog
Well, she
Star.
said
It's
he was
polar
her
bear.
brother.
What name did they give?
Morgan.
Morgan. May I take Dr. Sherwood over to Miss Morgan's apartment?
Okay.
You could identify the brother, couldn't you?
Oh, certainly. He came to me twice.
Fine. Let's go.
Well, goodbye, Captain Brown.
Goodbye, Doctor, and thank you.
The brother?
Baby seal.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
Come here, Doctor.
Uh-oh.
That your man?
No.
Say, why aren't you down at the old house?
Well, I'm rather tired of being there so much. Have you a picture of your friend Jensen around?
I'm not getting paid for this.
Yes, I think so. But look here, Mr. Winston. Marie's gone down to the old house to meet you.
What?
Didn't you call her?
Well, no.
You didn't call her?
No, I tell you. What's it all about?
I just got in. She left this.
Can't read it.
Was it? Oh, honey. Oh, get a picture of Jensen and show it to the doctor, will you, please? Hello, operator. Get me Douglas in 968. Hurry it.
That's the one.
Hurry with that call.
Don't answer it.
Hello.
Hello. Hello? Oh, yes.
Now listen, child. Don't get in a panic, but get out of the house as quick as you can.
Child.
Is there an officer guarding it?
Yes. He let me in when I told him you... Mr. Winston, didn't you call me?
Now, don't get in a panic.
I
Just
like
get
that.
the officer to drive you to the Douglaston police station and wait for me there. Now beat it.
All right.
Jeez.
Where's Miss Morgan? Hasn't she been here?
No, no one's been here.
You come with me. I may need you. No, wait. Stay here. Tell Ryan to beat it over to the Morgan house as soon as he gets here.
Yes, sir.
Actually, no, you'll just slow me down.
Isn't she there?
No.
Nah, I've messed this whole case up again. I'm not even a real cop. He was just gonna walk by that dead body. He didn't see it from like, further away.
He might need glasses.
That's his problem.
I thought that was a log.
Somebody else will clean that up.
I thought that was a baby seal.
just need to put together a supercut of like people walking through old dark houses and movies that we watched. It was just an ambient supercut. It would be so long.
Just people creeping around.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, that would actually be pretty.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Look out! Come on, here, cut it out. Cut it out. Come on.
All right, break it up.
Come on.
Scuffle, 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 scuffle.
What did you do with my sister? Here, cut it out. Come on, get up. Go let him in. Now then, what have you done with Miss Morgan? Come on now, make it snappy.
Miss Morgan? I don't know.
Where is she?
What's this?
Just a swell species of skunk. Now, come on, tell me, what have you done with her?
I tell you,
Did you call her and tell her to meet me here?
No, I swear I didn't.
We know all about Sherwood and the other girl, so you may as well tell us the rest. Who was in on this with you?
Barksdale.
Barksdale. So you killed her and then Barksdale so you wouldn't have to split, huh?
No, I don't know who killed them, I swear it. Pick up that phone.
No!
No! Why not?
Because that's the way Leela got it.
You were there that night. Did you kill her?
No, I saw her after shooting at Miss Morgan.
No, I didn't.
No, you're a liar. Go on, take him down and lock him up.
Yeah, send me back. It's better than getting
I tell
electrocuted.
you, Ryan, it doesn't make good sense. Why go to all the trouble to impersonate someone and then kill the impersonator? Jensen tried to kill Miss Morgan, but somebody else killed the girl thinking it was Miss Morgan. Jensen knew the difference. There have been two different factions working in this against each other.
What? But where's...
Exactly. Get an axe. Break that wall in.
Right.
And son, you'd better go on back to the station.
Why?
Because I don't think your sister's going to be alive when we find her.
Are you sure?
No!
Help me! No! You know what they are. Help me! Help me!
I know, but if you kill me, you'll never know.
You little fool! Don't you know that I'll kill you anyway? Help me!
Stop! All right. 13.
You better not be lying.
Cool. Oh shit, there's nothing new.
Smash it!
Here, give me that axe, please.
Come in, boy. That's it.
Oh shit. Oh! Nice.
He's locked in the safe! 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 I'm locked in the safe! Isn't that funny?
Go, Ginger, go.
It's a swell joke.
Come on, get out here. Come on.
Chill out. Uh-oh. They're gonna do the Scooby-Doo thing, or oh, she was right the whole time.
Oh, huh.
Got a patent on that little electrical device of yours, Adams?
No, I'm sorry to say. I haven't.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. The state's got something that works along the same lines. And we're going to give you an exclusive demonstration.
No pun intended.
Take him out. Come on, move.
And I would have gotten away with it, too.
Did they let you into that safety deposit box?
Sure.
What did you find?
Only $1 million in securities for her.
$1 million?
How disgusting. I hope it isn't U.S. Steel.
Don't worry, it isn't. I left the securities there, of course, but this letter was on top, and I thought you'd want it.
Thank you. To Marie, the 13th guest. Can you imagine that? I was it all the time.
How?
The poor lamb.
Read it.
Aloud?
Why, yes.
My dear child, I am making a rather melodramatic attempt to protect your fortune. But if I am right about the other members of the family, it is almost certain to reveal them to you in their true light, so that you will not make the same mistake I made when I married into it. Bless you, my dear, and may they have killed each other off by the time you receive this, your father. It's sad, but it's also darn good advice.
What?
Not to marry into a screwy family.
I'm confused. Why does her brother not get the money?
Tell me where you've been?
Well, first I went... Well, you told me to tailor.
Was that? Are they implying what I think they were implying?
I think I missed that one.
I feel like they were implying that they slept together. It seemed like he was maybe wearing her shoes or something. Or,
Okay.
I don't know.
This is Ryan.
I'm trying to figure out what the joke
I've
is.
got another swell...
I'm not interested.
When you hear the tone of the gong, it will be exactly 12 o'clock and 6 split seconds.
Hello? Ring Stuyvesant 9600 and keep ringing it.
Oh my God.
And when you've done that, well, ring it some more.
Movie's just starting over again.
I'm full circle.
Wow. That was the 13th guest. What did we think, Evan?
That was
The ending was underwhelming.
a little, yeah. I feel like there were a lot of moving parts in that one.
13 characters
Got a
to,
lot of people to keep track of.
and they weren't all there, and yeah, it was kind of a little hard to follow, and yeah, I was more than a little confused by the conclusion of it. Again, like you said, if it was a novel, Maybe they just had a hard time making it all make sense in an hour and 8-minute film.
Yeah,
But
it definitely felt like a movie that was based on a book.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I was underwhelmed by it was the uncle that she said it would be, you know?
Yeah. Don't you just love that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's logical. I guess I was just expecting a little bit more of
A twist.
twist. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times the old Dark House movie will try to go for that, but
I was waiting for the 13 Ghosts to show up.
ooh,
They never
no, that
did.
would've been again, like the supernatural old Dark House movie is like a subgenre of the subgenre, but it's like it is definitely more rare. Especially at this time, you don't really, in the 30s, they always have to be very clear that there's nothing really supernatural. It's just some pesky, relative trying to gain an inheritance. Nothing to be alarmed about.
So a rogue electrician.
Yeah. Yeah, just bugging the phones with 50,000 volts. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I mean it wasn't bad. I mean, throughout it was keeping my attention. The end was just a little, I don't know, a little stilted to me, but I mean overall enjoyable. I had fun with that. Um And this is one that got remade by Monogram later on, 11 years after tonight's film. Monogram did a remake called The Mystery of the 13th Guest. I don't know why you may need to make that title more of a mouthful than it already is, but they decided to do
Mystery
that.
of the 13th
The
Guest.
Mystery of the 13th Guest.
Starring Al Pacino.
Yeah, seriously. And that was one that I'd seen the first part of. And it starts out a lot like the beginning of this, with the I guess double character going into the house and looking at all the chairs and I kind of stopped paying attention. But this film also holds the distinction of being like part of the only existing material of the Vampira show. There's a like promo that she shot. Like none of her episodes of her television show survive, but there's a promo
right.
that she shot where she's introducing the 13th guest from
Oh, okay.
1932. And that's the only
the fragment.
the only
of her
the
show.
fragment of her show that survives. I mean, this was shown on TV as early as 1948. This was again, a lot of these old Dark House movies were started to run on TV by the late 40s. Kind of became staples of late night mystery horror programs because they're public domain. So
There's plenty of them.
plenty indeed. My goodness. They really I mean, we've got and I'll be a little liberal with because there are some like there's a 1940 movie that I'm pretty sure is public domain called Haunted House, but it's not really. It's more of a comedy with some younger actors, and it's not really about murder or ghosts or anything like that, really. So, like, at least tonight's movie had a mass murder.
I mean, and that is honestly kind of scary.
Right. So
The
that's
idea that somebody's like behind the wall, like trying
watching
to kill
you,
you,
yeah.
watching you,
ready to electrocute you at any second.
terrifying.
Yeah, I mean that's horror. So that's why I would definitely count tonight's movie. Anytime you got a mass killer, I say yeah, let's count it. And the one other interesting fact that I have on my sheet that I haven't mentioned yet is that tonight's film was shot by cinematographer Harry Newman. Two of his films we've seen: The Ape with Boris Karloff, also a Monogram movie, and The Wasp Woman, Roger Corman, 1959, which today, April 5th, is Roger Corman's birthday. Happy 98th, 97 or 98th birthday to Roger Corman. Still alive, still kicking. I think he's finally taken a step back from producing, but he was still producing up until
Finally decided to
COVID.
retire.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, really, I don't even think technically he still does stuff.
Yeah.
But he's
semi-retired.
He's slowed down for sure. But yeah, he's it's his birthday today. So
Well, happy birthday.
yeah, so if you're you're gonna wrap up with us and you're still looking for something to watch after, go check out any of our past Corman episodes.
Yep.
Over on our YouTube page. We've watched all the classic Corman movies: The Terror, Little Shop of Horrors, Bucket of Blood. We got them all.
Young Jack Nicholson.
Yes, yeah, and The Terror especially. That's a great one. That's one of my favorites. I might go watch that one later. That movie, actually watched it again recently and had like a epiphany about the plot, like that I was like kind of like. Maybe we talked about it. I'll need to go back and watch our episode because maybe we talked about this. I started to realize because I was watching it and I was, we talked about how that movie had a bunch of different directors and all this stuff. So I was trying to watch it and keep track of what I thought director was shooting what. And I was doing a pretty good job of it. But, one of the recurring things that you get are like shots with the bird and stuff about the bird. What I didn't realize, and I don't know if you remember that, and it ends on the shot of the bird flying through the air. The bird and the girl are like the same entity. That like the girl transforms into the bird.
The girl is the
The
bird.
girl is the Helene is a bird. She is that hawk or that bird or whatever it is.
This is this is your epiphany.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if we talked about this or if we noticed this when we watched it, but I don't think I had ever thought, because I would always see the shots, but like, all right, and there's the witch's bird. All right, the witch's. I was just always thought of it as the witch's bird. Only recently did I start to see a correlation between Helene would disappear and then it would be the bird. I'm like, oh, Helene is the bird.
She is the bird.
It was a kind of a wild spoiler alert. And the movie ends, she turns into a skeleton, that melty skeleton, which is in our intro credits, by the way. Melty skeleton. And then.
But she has a beak.
Well, then Jack Nicholson looks up and it's the bird flying in the sky, and then the end.
So she made it out.
Well, I just think there's a symbolic thing with ending on the shot of the bird, and I think she's Helene. Oh, that's cool, Dog Star. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be awesome. That would be really cool to look into. That's awesome. Hell yes. And again, if you need our email, it's over on our YouTube page at screamstreamshow@gmail.com. And again, we're over on YouTube at Screamstream Show. So like, subscribe, check out all of our past stuff. And, just again, thanks everybody so much for watching tonight. Thank you, Dogstar. Thanks everybody that hung out and enjoyed tonight's movie. And of course, if you want to follow the show on any of the other socials, we're over on Twitch and Instagram and X at Screamstream Show. If you want to follow me or Evan on the socials, you can find me over on X at Spakenstein, and Mr. Evan Sink is on X and Instagram at Caligari Cursed. Anything before we sign off tonight, Evan?
What kind of table is built for 13 places?
I guess it's made from a redwood.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
I think so.
It's one of the sides is longer than the other.
Right. That's right. The table's gonna be a little wobbly. We'll enjoy our dinner. Until next week. Sweet screams, everybody.
And to all a good fright.